Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today we have Robyn Soulier-Ritchot. She'll be speaking on, sorry, what was that called again?
How to create a business for social impact.
So I'll just go ahead and pass it to Robyn.
Okay, hello. So before we start and get into everything, I just wanted to start with the song Open in a Good Way. This is the turtle song in Anishinaabe. So So that song translated into English is so the turtle's flying all over the world, and it's the air that is helping them to fly. And it says the turtle respects the people, takes care of the people, so I will fly with the turtle. That's what it means. And so our icebreaker, going into our icebreaker, this is called experiential. It's IFOT, Indigenous Focus Oriented Therapy. It's a leading meditation. And so basically, it just helps you ground yourself, and it helps you, connect with the land. And so basically, you're just going to close your eyes, you take a couple breaths. And you can even keep your eyes open if you like, but usually it helps when you close your eyes. And so just imagine yourself somewhere out on the land, somewhere that is ancestral, somewhere that, helps you, even in this time, maybe in your community, maybe, somewhere by the water, wherever you feel most comfortable. And so just focus on what's around you. Is there grass? Is there land? Is there trees? Is there water? How is the land? Is it day? Is it night? Is there wind? And as you're sitting there grounding yourself to the land, to Mother Earth, what relations are there? Is there a bear? Is there eagles? Is there a hawk? And as you set yourself in this moment, what medicines come forward for you? What medicines? Is there sage? Is there cedar? Is there mushrooms? And while these relations come and help you, do they have a message for you? If one of these relatives could speak, what would they say? What would they say to you during this time as you take care of yourself? So I just want you to gather all these medicines, honor, and take appreciation for all these relations here with you today. And so you can come back into this space and stretch, do whatever you need to do. And then if you want to share, you can put it in the chat, what medicines came forward, what relatives came forward, if there was a message that came forward. And just either even after this, write down what you experienced, because these medicines is so important because these are our helpers. You know, even though we're having this presentation indoors or wherever you may be at this time, you know, just realize that, you know, this place, this land, these medicines are always there with you. You know, this practice can, you know, this could always be a thing for you when you need it most. And so now moving forward to the introduction, a little bit about myself. So Tanse Bazu Anin. My name is Gitsigiza Benesi Ekwe, Spotted Eagle with a Message. I am originally from Treaty 1 territory. I'm First Nations Oji-Cree. So I grew up in Winnipeg majority of my life. My band is Nisichawayasihk Cree Nation, and my mother is from South Indian Lake, and my father was from Little Turtle River Métis Settlement, now known as St. Rose du Lac. I am currently residing in Mohkinstsis, Treaty 7, Calgary, Alberta. I always jokingly say I am far away from home. I'm on Blackfoot territory, but you know, I've now been here for 3 years and I just absolutely love it. I'm just so grateful to be here. Also, I am the owner of Eagle Medicine Coaching. I have now operated this business for the past year. My background is in social entrepreneurship and health and human services management. I've held a couple positions at Business Link Alberta as a business strategist, and I've also been a project coordinator at the Calgary University for the psychology team, Indigenous psychology team. And so a little bit about my business. It actually came to me in a vision a couple years back when I was creating a program online for youth. I really wanted to do this program in a good way. So, you know, I asked creators help me with the name. And so Eagle Medicine came forward. And ever since then, I just kind of been leaning into it more. And it's helped me. It's not only a business for me, but it's a part of me. But, you know, like I like to humbly say I didn't start there. You know, growing up in Winnipeg, I, you know, was always around dysfunction and alcoholism and drug abuse. It was kind of just normalized. And so I didn't really know anything outside of that. And I kind of was, you know, just a product of my environment growing up because I too suffered, you know, not suffered, but, you know, lived with alcoholism and drug abuse at 21 years old. I was a high functioning alcoholic with the drug addiction. And along those lines, you know, it was, I think, 25 years old that I kind of just wanted to, you know, change for the better. And so I did, you know, I was tired of how I was living and I wanted to go back to school. And so I went to Red River College at that time and I sat down with one of the directors and she's like, "Hey, so what do you want to do?" And I was like, I don't know, but these are my skills and this is what I'm good at and this is what I know. And so I've always kind of been in sales type of thing. And so she introduced me to social entrepreneurship and I was like, business. I was just like, what? I was like, okay. So I tried it. And I graduated from that program. And you know, it was during that time that we're building out our business that I was just like, wow, like, you know, I never saw myself doing something like this. You know, I was always kind of intimidated, like speaking up or being front and center of anything, kind of like being a leader. I always shied away from it. And I'm just like, now I want to be a business owner. Like, what is this? That was 4 years ago. So obviously, people change. People change and our minds change and our narratives change. And, so I share a little bit about myself because, I didn't start with Eagle Medicine coaching. This is 31 years in the making of deciding that I wanted to do something for myself in a good way. And so here I am presenting to you through my business. And so now we're going to go into the presentations and why everyone is here. And so just let me know if the slides are changing for you. Are you seeing how to create a business? No? Is it still on the agenda?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
now we can see it.
Now you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. There we go. So Wicotowin. So I start with Wicotowin because it's a Cree law. It's a Cree law that when I was building out this workshop, building out this presentation, I didn't know where to begin. I just knew that I was going to talk about business and a little bit of what I know about social entrepreneurship, right? And so I always start in a good way by putting my tobacco forward. That's what I was taught. That's, you don't take, you always put good intentions, and in order to receive, you always have to offer tobacco. And so I did, and one night I had a dream of Wicotowin, that Cree law, and I didn't really know what it was, what it meant, but in my dream I knew exactly what it meant. I just remember talking. And when I woke up, I forgot everything. And I was like, what the heck? So I knew exactly that it was supposed to be part of this presentation. And but I knew someone in Calgary that carried this teaching. And so I offered her tobacco as well, and she helped me learn and share what exactly it is. So Wicotowin is like, just imagine a spider web, and you're at the center of this spider web. Everything around you is connected, interconnected, right? Like us, our family, our communities, all our relations, all those helpers, right? And it starts with you. It starts with you and how we tie into everything, because the choices that we make today are going to reflect on our 7 generations. So Laura Mushamansky, she's a friend of mine. She also knows this teaching. She shares, it's a Cree law. It's built on understanding of relationships that is translated as we take care of each other. Wicotowin, Deb Gopher says, it's a circle. It means we are all interconnected. It's knowing and understanding. We are all in relation to one another. And Natalie is one of my mentors out here in Calgary. And she shares, I understand how to live a good life in a balanced way so I can help myself and others. So Wicotowin. Moving forward to stewardship. So hopefully everyone here kind of has an idea of what stewardship means and what all my relations mean. So the diagram is an upside down triangle because, like I shared in Wicotowin, everything starts with us. The choices that we make, it all reflects on all our relations, our community, Mother Earth, our family. And so in Creator's vision, this was the sole purpose of why we came to this earth, right? Is to be stewards of Mother Earth, to live in a harmonious way with all our relations. It's our inherent right and responsibility to take care of the land because we are not only from this land, we are the land. And I think that's so important, to recognize that as Indigenous people, but all people, because we all have a responsibility to take care of Mother Earth because she takes care of us. It's that belief in reciprocity. That's who we are as people. And not only the fact that Mother Earth is sacred, that's our first mother. That's what we're taught by our elders, by these natural laws, Wicotowin. Everything you do and the choices we make today and the energy we put forward impacts all our relations, whether we're aware of it or not. There's a quote by the author of Braiding Sweetgrass, Robyn Soulier-Ritchot. She says, as nature is responsible for bestowing us gifts, such as trees, fruits, fertile soil, and water, the belief is that we must give back as much as we receive, and not that we cannot take more than we are able to give back. So moving forward, what is a social enterprise? Social enterprise is creating a business around social good. It's basically business for good, recognizing an issue or social injustice and wanting to operate a business that serves to help or eliminate the issue you're invested in solving. Referring back to Wikotowin and stewardship and allowing these ways of being to help you align with what is your purpose in creating a social enterprise. I also have a few quotes here, just in summary. A social enterprise is an initiative that combines business practices with the commitment to social impact. A business with specific social objectives as its primary purpose. The main objective is to achieve sustainable goals. These goals encompass a wide range of interconnected issues, including poverty, eradication, education, health, gender equality, sustainable energy, climate action, and more, etc. So the main goals of a social enterprise is to focus not only on profit when creating or developing a social enterprise, but how are we giving back to community? How are we helping these initiatives that are these issues, that we are concerned about? You know, think about the upside down triangle, right? And how we are a steward, you know, how are we a steward and how we are in service to others. And our communities, and then also main goals, general profits, right? Like any business, a social enterprise aims to generate revenue. However, it does so with unique purpose to direct surplus funds towards achieving its social, cultural, economic, or environmental objectives. Social impact. The second goal is to create positive change. Social enterprises strive to address societal challenges, improve communities, and contribute to the greater good. These outcomes are outlined in the company's mission and guides its actions. So we'll fall into SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So Sustainable Development Goals is a framework adopted by the United Nations. It was in 2015. It's a set agenda for the promise to transform our world through sustainable development strategies and how we operate our business on a global level. By 2030, the United Nations want to eradicate all levels of poverty through adapting these principles. And so I'm just going to share this quick video, the 17, going through them, just so you have a better understanding of what that means. Okay. So just referring back to United Nations promise, right? They want to eradicate all levels of poverty. And so I just I ask you to ask yourself, like, do you think that they're close to that? Do you think by 2030 they're going to eradicate all levels of poverty? I don't think so. So that's why I created this presentation. So to get you thinking about how to create a sustainable business, what initiatives that you want to help solve, right? How are we going to help our people, our communities through creating a social enterprise? It's, inviting those topics and those issues that are important to us, and through our experiences, that how are we going to give back to our communities, and how are we going to help, our ecosystem? Envision creating a business that helps you serve and explore at least one or two of these STGs. And then moving on to ESGs, environmental, social, and governance. So basically, it's a framework for a business model, your operations, and how you perform your systems. Walking through the diagram we have here, just things that are relevant, people and well-being. How are your employees taking care of themselves? Community development. How are we helping our community? Labor and relations, human rights, diversity, inclusion, are we allowing everyone at the table? Water and waste management, right? Again, referring back to ecosystem, ecological footprint. Are we practicing in a sustainable way? Energy and climate change. Are we referencing what is going on with Mother Earth in the current state that she's in? Are we exploiting her? Are we taking care of her, right? Referring back to Wet'suwet'en and stewardship, those guiding principles of how do we take care of all our relations. And so, like using these examples, earlier today, I was sitting in a Iskwyak circle, and we're talking about lateral violence and lateral kindness. And I just thought it was just, how do we operate our systems? How do we want to construct a business that everyone is welcomed at the table, but also they feel safe and they feel heard, right? That's just referring back to, hey, I want to create this business. I want to create this forefront, but how we operate is so important. What we do behind closed doors literally is, how are we going to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, so we can continue moving forward with our business in a good way. And so I have a couple business examples. Harlan Fisher, Smudge the Blades. These people are operating as social enterprises. Harlan Fisher is a First Nations hockey player from Sturgeon Lake, Saskatchewan. He runs an apparel clothing company called Smudge the Blades. The name came to him when he would get ready before stepping onto the ice. He would smudge his skates and hockey stick. He says hockey is good medicine. A portion of his sales from the clothing goes back to his First Nations youth to help with purchasing new hockey equipment and hockey registration, because him growing up, he saw the challenges that himself and, most likely other peers faced. And so he saw an issue that was through his own lived experience that he created his initiative through wanting to help others. And so Jen Harper, another great example. I remember the first time I saw Jen Harper, she was on Dragon's Den, and she was trying to pitch her business, Cheekbone Beauty. And I was just like so excited because like, wow, like this is the first time, recognizing an Indigenous woman on that show, right? And so it was pretty awesome to, witness, just that representation, but also introducing her business. Cheekbone Beauty came to her in a dream. She saw little girls applying lip gloss. And when she woke up, she said she went right to her laptop. She didn't even create makeup at this time, but she went straight to her laptop and she was writing out ways how she was going to create this lip gloss. She was guided by a dream, by a vision. So today her brand is known for sustainability, high quality color cosmetics that are also vegan and cruelty free. Her guiding principles consist of being led by her Indigenous roots and creating sustainable products. She has since donated $2,500,000 to a wide variety of causes and has even created a scholarship fund for Indigenous youth who are pursuing their post-secondary education. One of her main goals through her donating to organizations is to help close the educational funding gap. And she does this by donating proceeds to First Nations and Child Family Caring Society. She's just doing amazing work. She's just awesome. And so Sean Raylan from Red Rebel Armor is actually a brother of mine. I graduated with him at RRC, Red River College, and he has such an amazing story. He is so humble. I remember he was just starting out Red Rebel Armor, and he was selling his shirts to us, his classmates, his peers, some of the instructors. But it's not only that, it's his story, it's his background. He was in and out of jail. He used to sell drugs. He used to be a gang member, and he completely changed the narrative. He flipped the script, and he met a elder when in Stony Mountain at the time. His name is Lionel Houston, and he shared with him like, okay, so what do you want to do after you get out of here? And Sean didn't really know, other than what he knew at that present moment is, continue on this lifestyle, continue being part of the problem. And when he got out, he said, I don't want to be part of the problem anymore. I want to be part of the solution. And so he stopped doing what he was doing, and he created this business. And that was 5 years ago now for Sean. And since then, he has this beautiful business that he operates with his family. It's all about Indigenous representation. He hires men specifically that have criminal records, who have lived a lifestyle like him, but he wants to show them a new way out, of the system, a new way to operate sales, right? And I usually share his documentary. It's like 10 to 15 minutes, but we don't have much time today. But I suggest you go check it out. It's called The Pain into Purpose documentary. It's on YouTube. And so during that time in school with Sean, just seeing where he was and how he was operating his business at that point in time, it was him that actually helped me lean more into creating something for myself. And so I use these examples because it's just awesome to see that our people are amazing. Not only are they operating their business, but they're going back to their communities and they're giving back. That's what social entrepreneurship is. So there's a documentary I said to take a look at. Okay, so now we're going to go into a lean canvas model. I'm going to share some of the documents that I've created. I think Tara said that she'd be sharing them all with you today. But here's just a couple points that I'll walk through with you. So basically, when creating a business, you want to know your identity. Your identity. Describe your business in one sentence. What do you do and who do you do it for? Right? So just going back to what we spoke about, those SDGs, those sustainable development goals. What is the issue? Oh, yes.
Noting the screen is blank right now, just in case.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay. Is it there now?
It's there. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Okay. All right. So this is the lean canvas model. Number 1, identity. Describe your business in one sentence. What do you do and who do you do it for? Number 2, problems worth solving. So number 1, top 3 problems. Describe the problems that your potential customers have. Why do they need your products or services? And this is such an important question. What reason why it's number 1? It's like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Like, what matters to you most, or what do you think, or what do you see in your community, right, that you would like to help alleviate, if not bring to light? Okay. And so customer segments, number 2. So your target customer. Who are your customers? Describe your ideal customer here. Like age, gender, location, income, interest, or other demographic information. Are they urbanized? Do they live in the city? What city exactly? Are they on the reservation? Stuff like that. And list existing alternatives to these problems. What other products or services do your potential customers use today to solve their problems? Right? So that's just kind of leans into marketing research. We will get there, but that just planting that seed now. And so number 3, unique value proposition. So this is kind of it's a compelling message, like what sets you apart and why is your product or service worth buying? So for example, you will see my unique value proposition on my Facebook account and on my Instagram account, and even on my website. I say Eagle Medicine Coaching. I help entrepreneurs discover their gifts and walk in their purpose. That's it. Simple, compelling, straight to the point, kind of gives people an idea of what it is that I do. I help entrepreneurs. And then number 4, your solution. So relating back to your problems in number 1, now you're finding those 3 features to find a solution in those problems. Describe in simple words the things that you could possibly build to address each problem. So number 5, channels. Channels, describe your sales process here. How will you sell to your customers? Will you sell directly to them at a storefront or a website or other social media outlets like Instagram, Facebook, right? Will you be developing an app? I don't know. So number 6, revenue. What are your primary revenue streams? And so you don't have to really be specific right now. This is kind of a harder part in terms of revenue, but simple things, right? Like, how will you make money? And what products or services will you generate that revenue? Is it going to be an apparel company? Is it going to be an app? Is it going to be a service like coaching? How are you going to bring in revenue? And so number 7, cost structure. List your major expenses here. There's no need to get into a lot of detail in these early stages. Just list the areas that you expect to spend the most money on. Example, customer acquisition cost, distributing cost, material cost. So say you have apparel company, you know, how much are hoodies? How much are the material that you're going to be selling your message, you know? What else? Cost structure. Yeah. And so number 8, key metrics, key activities you measure. So example, acquisitions, activation, retention, revenue, referral. So key metrics, acquisition. How do users find you? Do they find you online? Do they find you at markets? Where in community are your ideal customers going to find you? Activation. Do users have a great first experience? Like meeting you? Are they going to have a great first experience with, say you're selling shoes and you're wearing your shoes? Like how are you going to sell your product? Are you going to leave a lasting impression? Retention. Do users come back? Do you have a product where users can come back to you? Or is it just going to be a one-off? You know, one-time thing, that's it. They don't need any more from you. Jen Harper, she's always going to have customers coming back to her. She has a makeup line. She does different series of her makeup line, right? She's always inventing and creating something new where customers are always going to come back. Revenue. How do you make money, right? As we spoke about cost structure, revenue. How do you make money, right? Sales, services, you know, how to workshops. If you do something such as beading, maybe you can create a workshop, another stream of revenue, and how to bead, right? You created something that people like. Now you can create a workshop of how to. Referrals. Do users tell others, right? Like Sean Rayland here. So he has his sweaters, he has his shirts, he has his apparel. Using me as an example, I wear his apparel and I say, oh yeah, I got this from Red Rebel Armor. Please follow him on social media. That's me referring him to another potential customer. So yeah, key metrics. And so the last one, number 9, Unfair advantage, right? So can't be easily copied or bought. What sets you apart? What is it that, you make that no one else can take it from you, right? Referring back to those, how you operate, your operations, ESGs, SDGs, like, those issues that you're trying to help solve or create. Because when we focus on things from a social entrepreneur perspective, we're doing this in a way to help others. That too is an unfair advantage, right? So yeah, just thinking about community, insider information. So there's really no rush to fill out this box. This is actually the hardest one, but just planting those seeds, really taking in what it is that you can set yourself apart from the rest. Okay, and then now moving on to marketing. So marketing mind map. This kind of just like we talked about your target audience. How are you going to reach your target audience? Define your target audience and learn what they like, involving them on your social medias, right? Stay in touch with your audience through the content that you create. And then so social media marketing, referring back to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., using specific hashtags, right? This is how you are going to market your clientele, your audience, your potential customers. Lead generation, leverage CEO. So when you create websites, you actually have this built-in CEO option. For example, Wix, I deal with Wix. And so when I use specific hashtags in my CEO with Eagle Medicine Coaching and the services that I offer, people can type on Google like indigenous coaching, or even Eagle, and my website will pop up. Encouraging a review page, lead generation. How are you going to lead other customers to your pages? So having a review page like Google, you see a lot of these companies, and the majority, will have a, I think it's 5 stars or something. And so that will either be related to their reviews. Like, are people talking good about them? Are people talking bad about them? Like, this is actually going to either make or break your service or your business. Offer live chat functionality, like example, Facebook, your website, how people are going to interact with you in those set moments when they go to your landing page and they have specific questions in that time. They want to speak to someone now. So, having that live chat function actually gives them, potential customers the idea that, oh, wow, like, I could speak with this person. I have these questions and, they're here right now. So anyways, run contests or giveaways. You'll see a lot of this on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see a lot of people, once they reach a certain amount of followers, they'll be like, okay, so tag your friend, like my page, follow my page, and then you can have a chance to win, yada, 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 whatever. This way, you have you have followers already, tagging in potential followers. Another great way for lead generation. Sales funnels. Sales funnels is like, offering something free. You'll see that a lot on other social medias, like Instagram and Facebook. So it's like basically a campaign. You offer something free and then you click the ad and then you put in your email address, and then they'll either scale you into a newsletter, or they'll offer you something for an upsell right away. So a sales funnel basically is an upsell. All right, email marketing. Email marketing is great to, build out your email list. These are ways in how you're going to connect with these customers and how you're going to update them on new services or whatever it is that you have created around your business. Content strategy. So basically, creating relevant content, but having a plan to engage your clients, keep them updated, even planning something as far as 1 to 2 weeks in advance. Yeah, so influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is just working with influencers, like to improve your brand recognition. Example, like people that you follow on Instagram that are either, Facebook or Instagram famous, and just reaching out to them and saying, hey, would you mind collaborating with me by posting my shirts or my shoes or my service? Some people will go as far as giving these influencers free materials of what it is that they sell. And so this influencer will wear them. And, that's a way of just getting, your brand out there. Okay. So moving forward. Four key steps to a successful business. So market research. Market research is so vital and it's so important because, you're conducting your marketing research to understand your target audience, their needs and preferences, analyzing your community, identifying gaps and problems you think are worth solving, as we mentioned before in the beginning. So gathering that information, data, and insights will help you make informed decisions. Moving forward, marketing research is like number one before starting a business because you want to know whether, is this a plan that, is worth investing in? And so product development, develop a high quality product or service that addresses the identified market needs or issue. Focus on creating value and uniqueness. Iterate and refine your offering based on feedback. So a prototype, think of a prototype, right? So there's different stages before you get to that like high quality MVP, most valuable product. But you're also, allowing people to, work with your product or to give you, some their honest, their honest feedback of like, yeah, this is good. This is not so good. So marketing strategy, kind of already went over that in the marketing map, but crafting a comprehensive marketing strategy to showcase your product to the world. Utilize various channels such as social media content marketing, advertising, tailor your messaging to resonate with your target audience. And customer engagement. Engage with your customers actively. Provide excellent customer service and support. Listen to feedback and use it to enhance your product or service. Building strong customer relationships leads to repeat business and positive word of mouth recommendations, right? Okay, and also, as I mentioned, I will be forwarding these business pages that I've created. It's kind of just like how to take care of yourself, right? So Eagle Medicine Coaching, what I do is not only to help people understand business skills, but life skills. Because how are you going to run a successful business if you're not taking care of yourself? You are the business. So, you can't be, running yourself on an empty tank when you actually need to fill your cup on a daily basis. So setting your daily intentions, doing your best looks different every single day, right? Consistency. I start by smudging every day. I practice my 3 ways of gratitude. I don't just be grateful for the things I have, I live in gratitude. So it helps me ground myself. It helps me to be grateful for what I do have and not what I think I need. Meditation, connect with the land like we did in the beginning, how to connect with the land, having that, that 5 minutes of meditation and like really diving deep in what are your medicines, because those are what help you live. How are you going to balance out today? Like I said, the 3 things you're grateful for, reflection. The other page is business project sheet. I use this quite often, actually. So major business project goals, things I want to be to do with not only the things like presentations, workshops, but with my clients. What are the goals that I have with my clients? My today's must-do task, what I have to do today. And if I don't get them done today, then I can move them forward to the next day. 3 things that I appreciate about my business, right? Reminding myself why I do what I do, right? And so again, ideas, because we constantly have ideas. Sometimes our mind is just do. So we have to ground ourselves and, focus on what we're able to achieve right now. And then those other ideas can trickle in when we have the time. And then also there's financials, there's how to write up a proper invoice, because I feel like a lot of people, you know, to start a business, you need to understand what it is your financials are. What are your expenses? How do you keep on the lights? How do you operate? And then what is the money that you have left over that's your takeaway? And then invoices, you know, like if you're creating a service such as myself, you know, you need to have proper invoices. This is professionalism. This is how you operate a business. And so now we're going to get into our Q&A. And here's some reflection questions that you could just, you know, if you want to answer one, two, or all of them, you're more than welcome to. So Tara, Danielle, all finished.
Hi, so we have a question. It says, do you have access to cedar healing practices?
Cedar healing practices.
Yeah.
So like, can you elaborate? What do you mean by that?
He also says, should read cedar healing practices. If yes, will you share the practice? If not, would you like to consider one? I don't know if you can see the chat box
Oh,
there.
okay. I'll
Like
try
if you read it,
to.
you'll probably understand it more than I do.
Okay, yeah. Let me stop sharing and let me go into the chat box here. Okay. Do you have access to cedar healing practices? Should read cedar healing practices. If yes, you'll share the practice. If not, would you like to consider one? Like using cedar as a way of like, you know, cleansing ourselves? Is that what you mean? Ken?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I've definitely have experienced something like that before. I think it was during the time that I was operating with the IFOT facilitation group. And so at the end of our presentations, we would do a cedar wash with the cedar branches, and someone would be drumming in the background. Is that kind of what you're like leaning into?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Is there any other questions?
I have a question. Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. So I really appreciated, how you outlined like the ESG and the SDG in terms of being some of those guiding principles when you're looking at creating a social enterprise.
Mhm.
So some of the things that I've been thinking about is, so for example, there's a social enterprise. It's not an Indigenous one, but it's like Accelerator Future, where they've
Mm.
created I think it's a for-profit. You outlined that it has to be a for-profit, and so I've been struggling in terms of when I think about social enterprises, I think of them as nonprofit.
Yeah.
And so, for example, the Accelerate Her Future has created these mentorship, fellowship circles, mentorship. It's really meant for racialized women, including Black and Indigenous. And so I'm still getting my head wrapped around, like, when we think about social enterprise. And I know that there's sometimes pots of dollars, grants specifically. Maybe you're aware of some that are more on the tech side of social enterprise, or
Mhm.
yeah. And so just a conversation about what's out there for social enterprises and realizing that it's can be very broad, right? And so, like, I think in my heart, if I ever had the opportunity to, like, I would do something for our MIWG families. I'm out in Saskatchewan, by the way.
Awesome.
And how would you be able to provide services to those families that, realizing it would have to be more on the counseling side. And to me, is that a social enterprise? And so I'm still struggling with, I know you shared your definition of it, but giving back to community and providing a service, right?
Yeah, no. So when I was in school, that's what I told my instructors that I was going to do. That's what I was going to do. I was going to create a business and I was going to create services around it and I was going to
Mhm.
give back. And they were like, "What?" So so when I created something completely different, it was a product actually. But now that I'm in a place with business coaching, so how I give back to MMIW, because I'm actually on a committee as well, I donate.
Mhm.
So I do presentations, I do workshops, I create one-on-one, coaching with potential clients. And so whatever I make from that, I donate a percentage to proceeds that matter to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's just one way. That's because I offer a service. But see, like, for instance, like Jen Harper, right? So what she does with her sustainable products, she also donates a percentage of proceeds to things that matter to her, which is education and closing that gap for Indigenous students.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And like you'll have my information. You'll have my we'll share here, my social media handles and my email, and you're more than welcome to reach out to me. You know, we can talk more and we can elaborate what it is that you're sitting on, and I could try to help you. It's an option
Well,
there.
I know that when we do talk about entrepreneurship, that a lot of times we discuss about exactly what you said, that giving back. And so unfortunately, I've only been able to do it as a side gig. And so um, I'm doing a podcast for Indigenous voice specific, creating space and amplifying Indigenous voices. And so
Mm,
that's been, to me, that's an opportunity to give back, especially. So I'm starting with a lot of our northern entrepreneurs. It's a little bit of a challenge because not everybody has access to good broadband, to Wi-Fi. So it's not as easy as jumping onto a Zoom and being able to
yeah.
participate. And so realizing that we have to think outside of the box in terms of how we're going to hear those voices.
Yeah.
And then sometimes also access to uh, everything as simple as recording studios or mics or quiet space or whatever it is to actually get their voice heard. And so
Mm,
so that's something that I've been working on. And then I do a lot more speaking, like Indigenous women entrepreneurs. They have a lot of networking events and joining platforms and things like this, these webinars.
yeah.
And just adding voice in terms of resources and what's out there, and free resources and where you can register your business. And there's so much stuff out there, and just really trying to help navigate people through all of the noise in terms of where to start, and as you
Right.
said, kind of keeping it a direct line. But I
Yeah,
did like
exactly.
your lean campaigns, or sorry, canvas, and so that's always a big challenge, I think, sometimes. And in your coaching business is really getting people focused on putting their business ideas and objectives and goals into, like, writing it down.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
so important, right? Because we want to be able to have this in real time because everyone has an idea. It's just a matter of
Mhm.
putting, pen to paper. And once you have, that's why, leading with a lean canvas, guiding you with a lean canvas. I got some really good feedback with some youth, and they said, "Oh, I didn't know how easy it was to create a business." And I was just like, wow. I was just like, okay, so let's do more of this, right? And as a woman, as an Indigenous woman, it's intimidating because we see so much of men forefront in business, and they're accelerating, they're getting so much support. So how can we do that for our women,
Mhm.
because half of the time you see these crazy wicked trailblazers, but it's just like, how did they get there? How did
Mhm.
they get there? And they didn't get a lot of support, and you'll hear that in a lot of their stories. So I'm really grateful for Can Do for, having this space and offering these webinars for free for people to, really, get talking about the things or issues or business plans that they have, because that's support. You know, that's
Mhm.
something to lean into. So Daniel has a question. What kind of barriers do you see to businesses addressing environmental friendly practices? Yeah, so I was talking to my cousin Vanessa Tate, and so she has her master's in community development. And so when she went back home after she was done her schooling, what she wanted to do, because it's very high in poverty out in South Indian Lake. 96% of our community members are on social assistance. And so a lot of them struggle with, you know, having food in our cupboards. And what she wanted to do, she wanted to have a greenhouse. And so that was one thing in order to, you know, fill that need of having a healthy diet plan, not only for, you know, anyone in the community, but creating that initiative for other communities to see. But unfortunately, chief and council didn't want to support it, and so that never happened. That's this one, because it's addressing the environment, but also it's taking care of the land, because the land takes care of us. So yeah. Anything else?
I think that's all the questions today. Does anybody else have any questions before we end the webinar? Nope. Okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Robyn, for presenting for us today. She will be sending me a document, and I will be sending that document to everyone that attended today.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
And
thank you so
webinar
much.
tomorrow. All right. Bye.
All right, bye. Take care.